welcome back to Pretty Creative Stuff. Today I'm going to tell you how I make sourdough bread pretty creative. When you think of sourdough bread, you probably think of like a round loaf of bread, maybe that someone sliced in the top to make it look fancy or a fancy design. I'm sure I could learn to do that, but I found an easier way to make my sourdough bread fancy. First of all, I use an easy recipe for sourdough sandwich bread, which is a little bit different than regular sourdough bread. It still uses sourdough starter, so it has that great tangy sourdough flavor, but it makes a great sandwich loaf that you can use for peanut butter and jelly, my kids like, or whatever meat, cheese, whatever you want to put on it. Or just to eat it. That's how we eat it most frequently, just sliced with butter. If you take nothing else away from this recipe, take away the fact that sourdough is not intimidating and it can be just as easy to make as a quick bread like banana bread, actually even easier. It only uses water, flour, starter, and salt. I don't know how you get easier than that. Let me walk you through how I make my sourdough bread. First, you start with sourdough starter. This messy jar is my sourdough starter that my son named Chickadee, and he's tried to change the name since then, but I like the name. And Chickadee is responsible for my sourdough bread. So after I mix the bread dough together in a bowl, which my daughter has helped me with, she's really good at measuring out the flour and mixing. After we get all that mixed together, I usually try to do it in the evening, and I'll just leave it sitting out on the counter overnight, covered. And then the next day, I will check to see if it has at least doubled in size, and if it has, that's when I get my bread pans out. What I used to do is just make it in two kind of boring bread pans. And then after about 2 years of doing that, I thought, what would happen if I made it in a shaped pan that you would use for maybe a quick bread like banana bread or a cake recipe? And the first thing I did was I tried this snowflake pan that I got from Target right before Christmas. One recipe of the sourdough bread made enough for this pan plus one loaf pan. And it turned out so cute that the next time I made all snowflakes, I had to get more snowflake pans. We had it on our table for Christmas. We had it again for New Year's Day. It was just delicious, and I didn't even eat it with butter. I just pulled it apart and ate it. Today is Valentine's Day, and I decided that I would get creative again by using this heart-shaped pan. So I used one loaf pan and one heart-shaped pan to see what would happen. Would it come out okay? Would it look cute? And if you can't already see it, I have these heart-shaped sourdough dinner bowls over here that are just so adorable. You may notice that there's 6 sections in here and there are only 5 over here, but that's because I already ate one. I just couldn't wait. They're so good, and they don't even need butter. They're really, really delicious. I have the recipe that I use for sourdough bread and an explanation of how I usually do that on my blog, so I can link to that in the description. I hope you like this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And in the comments, I want to know, what shape should I do next for my sourdough bread? Should I make trains for my son, or should I make butterflies for my daughter? What do you think I should do next? All right, that was some pretty creative stuff. Please like and subscribe.